What's up, Drip Drip Nation? It's the creator here with the Kickoff 2026 Johnny Drip Drip video. I wanted to bring everybody in, kind of pull us all up to speed as we are, well, not too far away from Johnny Drip Drip this year, and like any year, it's going to be the best one we've had so far. So first things first, let's get into a little agenda for this meeting. The first thing I want to do, of course, is announce the dates for Johnny Drip Drip 2026. Then we'll get into some other new things coming this year. I'd also like to give a call out to unbiased officiating and perhaps get into some revamped weasel prevention. I'm going to go over some overtime changes as long as other general feedback form review and maybe brainstorm some stuff with you all. I want to give an updated rundown on the gun down, and I want to show us a finalized stat review and take a look at the leaderboard. And lastly, I'll end with a quick highlight video giving a glimpse of things to come. So first off, for the date, we're looking at August, and with no further ado, the date this year is going to be, let's see here, Wednesday, the 5th of August through Sunday, the 9th of August. And I can't wait for that. It's going to be great. We'll see who takes it home this year, and of course, typical situation, Thursday at Trappers, the game's the weekend, but all in all, it's going to be a great one. Can't wait to see us all up here. So let's look at some things coming to the Drip in 2026, starting with the JDD Drip Turn, Jack Barsh. He's a sports management major from Syracuse University. He's got experience with video editing. He's passionate about sports, and he's also got a background in comedy, which is a great combination for our league. And he's also looking to elevate production, perhaps implement a live stream. He also has experience with video editing, and he's already helped us out by putting together some of our moving batter graphics, as I think maybe you've seen. But take a look here. I put my favorites that he's put together for us, one for each team, as you'll see them scrolling through. This year, he'll help us to optimize these even further, as well as perhaps implement the live stream, like I said, help us out with our videos. He might be helping me on some side projects, and he's going to be up there with us. So say hi to Jack when you see him, and he's going to be a great addition for us. Something else coming to Drip in 2026 is going to be Chef Borger and the little sliders. Let's take this thing full screen. So if you can take a look here at the burger patties, you might see your good friend Noah or Sam or Double Barrel Mike or Habo or Tommy. Essentially, these little sliders are going to be Nathan's sous chefs, people dedicated to help him out, dedicated to kind of, giving him some assistance, as he's an excellent provider of food, but it's going to be great to have a team. And anybody is welcome to be a little slider. That just might be who we see this year. So looking forward to that. And just to go over some other things we have coming this year, the first of which is that Noah's taking the throne as the Jungle Juice Master. He did this last year, and he's going to be doing it in a greater capacity. I want to introduce Sodas in the Shed, where we're going to have some pop, soda, other non-alcoholic beverages, maybe even energy drink for people who don't want to drink. We'll want more fan involvement with our pontoon riders, maybe have some people actually come up to the dock. I'm going to have a revamped and more digestible how to play rules to push out in coordination with trademarking of the game, which is some big news. I've been working with my lawyer uncle on that one. We're going to introduce Tony's official late night keg toss as a combine event. There'll be some new faces, there'll be more jerky, be more pranks, maybe even some pyro. Now, one thing that's going to be needed in 2026 is unbiased umpires. Well, as you know, we sometimes argue balls and strikes and fair and foul. Little things like that can be something that slows down the play, but also, raft mounts and, is somebody up or not? So ideally, we would have one dedicated, non-biased umpire throughout the whole weekend. Of course, it might be difficult to have somebody who doesn't want to play and wants to do that, but at the bare minimum, a player not involved in each game will have to be the umpire going forward. They'll need a clear vantage point of the plate, the raft, and the foul lines. And I also want to point out that we're going to have announcers refrain from yelling out calls, because that just adds some confusion if they yell, fair or foul before we even know. So Jack has prepared a quick selection of clips for us, so take a look at these just to kind of show the need for officiating that we do have. And I do just want to point out that Jack put these videos together. I agree we need unbiased officiating, but I not necessarily co-signing the narrative this video puts forward about what teams are doing what. But in this video, I think you can see players might be kind of tipping their hand a little bit.
You can't strike out on a foul.
No, the one before that.
No, it wasn't. He said 2 balls.
So, you know, we probably shouldn't have Monster Lobsters yelling things out. We need either a Dylan, either a Baloney, or somebody not involved at all to making these calls.
The one before the foul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's okay.
I'll keep my damn mouth
Okay.
shut. How about that?
Mark that K for me.
And I think we all remember this fair foul call from the seeding game between Monster Lobsters and 6 Mile Slammers last year. Again, this is going to be a challenging one, but essentially we can't have some people saying fair, some people saying foul. There's got to be one person making a call.
That's in. That's in. That is down the first base line.
Let's go.
And ultimately it is a challenging thing to see, but, you know, we've got to be able to make those calls.
That's a strike. That's another strike.
No, it's not a strike.
Hey, we have an ump, right?
Yeah, where's
You have an umpire.
Spicer. Oh, yeah, it can't be you. Ethan,
Then
balls and
again,
strikes.
you know, another game where you hear Baloney and you hear Monsters, the two
Yeah, it
people
can't be
yelling
Nathan.
out whether it should be strikes or balls or, you know, it should be somebody
We need an
not
ump.
on one of the 2 teams.
Ethan, you're ump.
Need an umpire.
He needs to be behind home plate.
What's the count?
Spencer said double ball.
Oh,
Spencer is like a million.
Did fantastic effort there on Sentinel. I saw some great shots there.
And this is just going to be a tough call regardless, but you're going to need somebody with the gumption to just say, hey, he's up, and we're done with that. Ultimately, this was given as a ref mount. It's very borderline, but, you know, to not have the players arguing about it, having somebody saying, hey, this is what it is going to be. And, you know, this will clean up our play and decrease contention. We can identify the right location for this person to sit, maybe obtain some swag, official umpire gear. They're able to review footage, but it is a one-man decision. And I just want to point out also, I have weasel prevention in the works. Keep an eye out for that. You know, mysteriously missing from the previous video was this weasel moment by Jack Van Houten. And 2 years ago, we had a similar situation with Dan Shore be the weasel in this moment, and we will have official guidelines for any sort of unsportsmanlike play. We'll be pushing that out as soon as it's ready. Next up, I wanted to get into the feedback form review and brainstorm a little bit with you all. Every year, we get the feedback form sent out, and I'm really happy with the return we get. This year, there was a lot of substantial information in there. So one of the first things was some information people gave on overtime. You don't have to read all these little things on here, but for the most part, everybody agrees that overtime 1 was exhausting, that being 2v1s, and that we wanted to restructure the order of it. Well, I heard you loud and clear, and that's something we can very easily do. So first, let's take a look at the 2025 overtime order. We started with 2v1s, and of course, we didn't make it past that. But if we did, we would have went to 2v2s, home run derby, and feat of strength. Now, in 2026, what I'm proposing is we start with 2v2s, then we do home run derby, followed by 2v1s, and then feat of strength. This way, you get to do 2v2s, which are going to be the closest thing to Johnny Drip Drip play in overtime format. And then we'll go to home run derby, where people can kind of catch their breath a little bit. Then we'll go to 2v1s, which would be exhausting, sure, but it's not as exhausting as feat of strength, which is going to be last. And that's an easy change. We'll do that 100%. All right, moving on to the slush fund increase and the 2026 fee. So I believe last year we paid $85 each on the slush fund. And that money goes a long way, but we did end up going over slightly. Not a huge deal, but some people like Nathan and Ian, Eric, Wyatt, Jack, myself end up spending out of pocket a little bit. And we were trying to, decrease that. And we eyed a larger increase that will get us to a more stable number to where we're not increasing a small amount every year. We can kind of say we're going to stick at this number for a while. Aiming for comfort, aiming for improvements, and aiming for a, less runs to buy more things at the store and stuff like that. So if you'll see here, I popped up a little chart. This is what people, the feedback that they gave. You'll see nobody selected we're going to stay 85. I think 2 people who filled out the poll said $100 to increase to, and everybody else was either 125, 150, or more than 150. So we think like a fair jump for this year would be to go to 125. I think that we should be able to say if we're going to go to 125, we can stay at 125 for a significant amount of time, and that will be enough to kind of allow for more movement. Maybe if we have extra money, then hey, we don't have to pay for that trapper's trip, or there just can be a better allocation of funds. Now, let's get into some equipment changes. Just looking at some feedback here, a couple things that people pointed out. The first of which being everybody loved the Yeti pads. They also wondered how else could we use the Yeti pads. So Sam, I'm wondering if maybe he could step in here, run with that a little bit and figure out how else we could use them. And the other thing that people brought up a lot, which is something that we always talk about every year, are the half bases and the pitcher's mound. How can we improve those? So I just want to kind of get people thinking, like I've been thinking, Ian and I tried to come up with an underwater floating platform, which some other people suggested something similar. How can we make that work? If you have any ideas, let me know. Okay, let's get to the state of stat keeping. This is a section where people gave some other things they would like to keep stats of in Johnny Drip Drip. I just wanted to throw some of these ideas out to you all. If anybody really likes any of these things, let me know. We can add them to the list. But we don't want to, record stats just to record them. Some things might be interesting information. So here we go. Bunts and launches to categorize hits. Be them, short little bunts. Are people hitting long launches past the raft? Sentinel raft mounts prevented. Pitcher earned raft mount average. Raft mount supported being, the swimmer who stops the sentinel while somebody else climbs up. Batter strikeouts, the Yabi Baez Award, and this one's easy. I mean, I can actually go back over the last 2 years and just compile the strikeouts that batters have had, and then time to mount, next gen jerk. And one last thing, just some timing adjustments. A lot of other people kind of brought up the fact that we think the gaps between games are maybe too long, and we can readjust the weekend to have, the championship game be played earlier on Saturday evening, and less time between games. And I think that's a great idea. So moving on to the next section, the rundown on the gun down. Let's go over how a gun down works. So for a gun down to be recorded by a deep sea dripper, the ball must be retrieved beyond the raft. Then an accurate throw must be made to a sentinel or a floater defender in the water. At least one out must be recorded shortly thereafter. Now, multiple gun downs can be recorded in one play. However, no pickles or relays can lead to a gun down. It must be the initial defender receiving the ball. And a gun down can be recorded when an offense records a raft mount. So these two things can happen at the same time. And then there's just one other little rule. The stretch rule can disqualify raft gun downs. And you'll see this. I'm going to play some clips for you all here, just to kind of show the state of the gun down, because it's a really fun play. All right, so we're starting off here. This is just a clear-cut example of a gun down. Michael, nice laser, right to the raft, and that would have been a double gun down had there been 1 out or 0 outs. However, there were 2 outs already, so it was just recorded as 1 gun down. Let's take a look at this one. This is an example of a gun down where the throw is made to a defender floating in the water. Accurate throw. Caught. I swim over and record the out. Now, if I were to throw that ball to the sentinel and then he were to tag the person out, that would not be a gun down because you can't have a relay. But a defender in the water can recover the ball on an accurate throw and record a gun down. Now this one, this is basically the borderline range for a gun down. Jack was just not quite far enough away for this to count as a gun down, so we determined that to be essentially the range. Beyond that point, it would be a gun down, but at that range, it is not. And now let's take a look at a play that kind of shows the stretch rule. As the juicer wasn't able to cleanly recover that ball and had to stretch off the raft to pick it up, It's not a gun down because it's not an accurate throw. Now this rule also applies to swimmers in the water. If the ball is thrown near them, they don't recover it cleanly, it's also not a gun down. Now here is an example of a play. It's an absolutely amazing throw by Tony back to the rack. However, as you'll see, there's only one out to still be recorded, and it's Jack. Now look who gets the out here. This is that pickle situation I was talking about. It's a great play, but as you see here, the ball's thrown to Noah, and then he jumps off to make the out. So it's not a gun down, but it is a great play. So hopefully, gave a good look at multiple different plays which cannot be a gun down, just so we have a better idea of what they are next year. It's one of the most fun plays in Johnny Drip Drip, and I love looking at them. I just want maybe everybody to have a better idea of exactly what a gun down is as we have determined. I have just, I believe, 2 more plays to show you. This first one here is going to be an example where this is a somewhat gray area. Now take a look here at this throw. I believe it's Double Barrel Mike making the throw, and it's quite a long throw. Now look at this. The ball is thrown directly to the raft. It actually hits Sam and bounces off. Now Dalton immediately recovers that ball and hands it back to Sam. Usually, that would not be a gun down because of the relay. But because the initial throw was so accurate and nothing happens in between, it is recorded as a gun down because the initial throw was accurate and the person the ball was thrown to makes the out. Now, of course, Dalton picked it up and handed it to him. The no stretch rule came into effect, but just because of the amazing throw, we're going to count that one as a gun down. And let's just leave here. Let's leave this gun down section on a perfect, amazing play. A cinematic masterpiece, in fact. This ball is hit into the waves from the oncoming speedboat. And watch here as Tommy delivers an absolute laser gun down. And Ethan does the rest. Discarding Wyatt, recording the gun down, chasing him down, but if Wyatt still did make it back to base. Well, I hope you all have a better idea of the gun down and can't wait to see some more in 2026. Alright, so as we've talked about the gun down and some other potential stats coming to Drip Drip, let's take a look at the leaderboards of post-2025 compiled stats. Now we have 5 years of play to look from. Let's take this thing full so we can take a look at it here. Alright, so as you can see here, I have it set up with your player in the left column, followed by the team, and then what we're sorting by. So first, taking a look at games played here, you'll see Jack way ahead of the crowd with 20, followed by a large grouping in the upper teens. Making our way down, this makes sense, right? The players who've been here since the beginning. Now, looking at the bottom here, you'll see some grayed out columns. And these indicate players who've played less than 5 total games. We're just not going to count them for percentages or like per game stats. All right, looking at wins, you see Jack, he's got 13, he's way ahead of the crowd. There's a grouping at 10, who's going to separate there, and then making our way down, you'll see in the top 10, anybody with 6 wins makes that top 10. All right, let's look at win percentages, and let's sort out these people only playing 5 or less games. Okay, in first place, Grant with 75% winning percentage. He is at top of the crowd, and of course you'll see a large grouping of Slammers and Lobsters, as they're the 2 most winning franchises in Drip Drip history, really making up one of the greatest rivalries that we have. And of course you can see that anybody in the top 10 is over 50% winning. Looking at bats, you'll see Jack is really breaking away from the crowd here with 68. There is a pretty large grouping from, high 40s to low 50s, and then making our way down, a lot of people concentrated around the 30. But now we'll see who converts these at-bats into hits the most as we sort by hits. Okay, let's do that. So, of course, you see Jack, and one thing I want to point out really quick, year 0, we counted hits, but we didn't count at-bats. People get credit for their year 0 hits, but they don't get those at-bats. I believe that's actually year 1. I gotta clarify that. But anyway, let's look down on the hits here. Well, you see Jack way ahead. Then you see Alex and Eric. Now, hey, more Big Rick, who's gonna be the next person to 50 hits? Looking down, we have a big grouping in the high 30s. And let's just take a look at hitting percentage now and sort out these people who've played less than 5 games. Pat Gavitt had that incredible year last year where he didn't go hit. He went 100%. He's at 87, followed by Mike at 81, Eric, Alex. There's a lot of people up there. Now looking at raft mounts. Now this is where we start to see the true impact that Jack can make on the game. Look at that, 29 raft mounts, followed by Nate. And then look at Ethan here, 10 raft mounts in 4 games played. That is incredible. All right, raft mounts created. I like to think of these as the power hitters of Drip Drip. This quartet of men, Jack, Juice, Pat, and Alex, they really set themselves apart as the people who are putting the most people up on the raft there. And of course, Jack is at the top of this category. Now looking at outs recorded, get the defensive side here, we'll see Juice, Nate, and Carmine with 47, 45, and 44. Who's going to be the first person to 50? That's a good storyline to look out for this year. And now Ethan, of course, another thing he's just doing crazy, 24 in 1 season. Looking at strikeouts, in the first year they've been recorded, we had, let's see here, we had 9 strikeouts from Wes, followed by 8 from Evan, 8 from Andrew, and 5 from Eric and Wyatt. Now those are the pitchers at Drip Drip, so this totally makes sense to see. Snags, after 2 years of data on snags, we have Sam in first place with 3, followed by a trio of baloney men with 2 each. Then Noah, Michael, and Josh Wood also have 2, and there's a few men with 1. I love seeing the snags, and I think that's a good amount of snags to have in 2 years of recording them. Now looking at total deletions, this one's fun. We've looked at it for 2 years, and we have 4 total deletions, 2 each year, and 1 for each team in the league. Sam, Ethan, Juice, and Nate taking them home. Lastly, let's look at our new stat, the gun down. We have Nathan in the lead with 3, followed by Grant with 2 and Mike with 2. Then Michael and Tommy each have 1. I think seeing 9 gun downs in 1 year, that's a pretty good amount. But looking forward to seeing more as we looked at that video. I mean, it's one of the most fun plays to watch in Drip Drip now, isn't it? All right. Before I send you out of here, I want to just show you one quick little highlight tape. This is, I believe, from the seeding game number 2. Jack put this together for us. Just a little taste of the highlights we have to come. Sit back, relax, and watch a minute in 10 seconds or something like that of highlights from Drip Drip.
And he swings it right at the pitcher Wyatt, who makes the throw for the double. A swing, a bit, the creator Finelli with an aerial snag pitch. Here's the shot. Tipping the aerial snag just over his hands. Looks like the boys are charging the mound. We'll see how many. And
That's enough. That's enough.
3 using here. There's a pitch. Hit right. Oh, a shot. There we go. Off the fingertips. The ball. We got 3 swimmers headed to the raft.
He's up.
1 out recorded, but
Carmine
1 raft
scores.
created by
Carmine scores.
Go.
Go.
The boys must go because the bases were loaded. A throw to the second hole. Yeah, it looked like he tapped it.
He tapped.
Looked like it was a great catch. He tapped. He was able to tap the raft.
He tapped.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, he
What are you talking about?
Dalton caught him.
It looked like a double deletion to me.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for sitting through this video. If you have any feedback for me from the video, any brainstorming, any information for how you can help, or just, looking forward to Drip Drip, spread the good word. Let's keep that wave growing to its peak before it crashes over the whole world. Can't wait to see everybody up there this year. August 5th through the 9th. Of course, not everybody will be there Wednesday, but anybody is welcome to join the early birds. We'll do the typical full weekend. If you can't come till the 6th or the 7th or whenever you make it up there, it's going to be an amazing time. Can't wait. Drip Drip man creator Jim Jones out of here. See you all at the lake.
Creator Jim Productions.